we've had lots of conversations this season, and a bit of a blip. You've got to handle. It's the first time, back-to-back defeats. Just something different for you to tackle here at MK Dons.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. I think that's why when things were going so well earlier on, in the back of my head, I knew at some point we'd face a moment like this. And look, for me, it's not about getting carried away. It's nothing drastic. When you look at the two games, I actually thought we were a lot better against Shrewsbury than Doncaster. I thought we'd shown good progress in terms of controlling the game, how we started the game. When you play against a block like we have in the last two games, it is so difficult. And we spoke to the guys about it today that what you then have to do is you're not going to maybe get, especially attacking players, you're not going to get 50 touches. They might be half. It's then around having real high impact and real high quality when you do. And what I'm quite comfortable sat here knowing is that we've got people that will score goals in the team. So, yeah, a slight blip, but nothing that concerns me.
What's sometimes levelled at the side, and to be fair, this isn't just under your tenure. This was the side before that. The team struggled against certain types of clubs, certain types of teams, certain types of play, styles of play. Is it about then making MK Dons have the ability to beat any team on any given day if they play well enough?
Yeah, I think so. And again, I don't think it's changing style. I don't think we lost because of style at the weekend. I thought we lost ultimately because we didn't have enough care and quality in and around the penalty box, and ultimately we made a few too many errors that led to the goal. So I don't think it's changing style. We obviously watched the game back and went through all went through all the data and the stats. And when you look at the XG, which a lot of people look at now, is 0.03 for Shrewsbury first half, which basically means they've not really created anything. Whereas we were a lot higher than that. And similar at the end of the game, if you go through all the stats, obviously the one that matters the most is in the goals scored column, but ultimately the rest of it, like I said after the game, if we continue to produce performances like that, we work to improve the quality in and around the penalty box with the half chances you get, or being a little bit more direct than we were maybe Saturday, I think we'll win football matches. So like I said, there's no panic stations from me. Like I say, I thought we'd actually shown progress from Doncaster. It was literally just that final bit that wasn't quite right at the weekend.
That's you, Liam. What about the players? Obviously, it's natural. It's natural for any player in any football club at any level. In fact, in any job, when things are going really well, you have a tendency to not necessarily be complacent, but as it comes as a shock that they've lost the last couple of games, are they disappointed in themselves?
Yeah, I think so. I know so. I know the players are extremely disappointed and frustrated, obviously, with the results. You can see it, you can feel it in the changing room, but I think, what we've said all along, it's not about getting too high or too low. Of course, the emotion after the game is important. I think it is, rightly so. People should feel disappointed and, frustrated to come away from matches like Saturday, not with 3 points ultimately. But what you can't do is sit around and dwell on it for too long. Like I said, for me, I wouldn't change anything in terms of the team, the personnel, how we've gone about it. It's like I say, it's just tweaking some fine things around the edge of the area that for me would be key in terms of flipping that from a 1-0 loss into a comfortable victory. So I think that the players are in a good place. They've come in today. We've spoken about it. We're extremely open and honest. We understand that it's not about being super emotional. It's around going, right, what do we need to get better at? How do we turn them types of games into wins? And that just comes down to developing. That comes down to improving. It comes down to working and ultimately being a better version of ourselves.
And I suppose the last thing you want in this situation, although there's no panic, the last thing you want is a trip to a side who are in brilliant form, a tough venue, a big side in this division, Wigan. Or perhaps do you look at it the other way? That's exactly what you need right now.
Yeah, I'm more of the second. For me, it's about challenge. I think that's the biggest thing. I want to step up. I want us to test ourselves against the so-called bigger clubs in the league. And I think if you look at our previous record so far, and I think we've really stepped up in them games and actually shown a high level of quality. So for me, it's come at a really good time. I'm really excited to go into the game tomorrow to see how the players respond. And what I know with the group, and irrespective of the results we've had recently, it's not through a lack of effort. It's not through a lack of attitude. It's not through work rate. All them things we've been there. We're talking about quality now. So that's our starting point tomorrow night. Again, we have to match the fight. We have to match the spirit, the desire to run, to compete, and then then we have to show the quality that I know we've got in the team as well.
Do you think that sides like Wigan, who haven't been in the Premier League for a number of years, but it takes quite a long time for that feel within the club to dissipate, doesn't it? They will still feel like a Premier League Championship club. So that will be around the place, won't it? It's something that you'll have to come up against.
Yeah, potentially. I think for me, it's ultimately the game starts. That kind of becomes irrelevant for me. It's 11v11. I think we look at it and ultimately, I think that the biggest thing for me, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night is us, how we respond. How we step up, how we go around executing our game plan, how we manage key moments in the game, how we deal with the small details that we've been speaking a lot about recently. It's not for us to turn some of these performances into results. Ultimately, it's not big things. It's not major things. It is for me small little details, and that for me is the bit that excites me the most. How as a group do we respond, and then how do we step up in a really exciting game to go and show what we are. We're at the level we want to be at.
Everyone come through the weekend okay? Are there any injury problems at all?
Nope, everyone's come through okay.
Thanks.
No worries.
Thanks, Ian.
No problem.
Do you think coming up against teams like Shrewsbury and against Doncaster and the style of play that we saw them employ against you, do you think that's something that you guys are going to have to start to expect now after the start to the season you made?
Yeah, I think so. It's like I said, there's no right or wrong way to play football. We have our style, they have their style, and I think when you look at what they did, I see it almost as a compliment that they're almost a little bit too worried to come out and leave spaces in between them, through them, or behind them. So I think that for me is the biggest thing around us as a group, understanding how we get success. So making good decisions, being able to problem solve, being adaptable, and that's the bit. Like I say, the journey we're now going on as a group is to have these highs that we had early on, and then the challenges we're facing now. And I think that's what ultimately, if you look at good teams, successful teams, they're able to overcome periods like this. So that's the biggest thing. I'm really excited to see how the group respond.
I don't really like using the word easier, but do you find it easier or more successful, I suppose, to play against teams who want to come out and at you then? Because, as you say, it leaves those gaps in behind for you guys to exploit.
I think it depends on how well they set their press up. To be totally honest, I wouldn't say one's easier than the other. I'd say one can be more frustrating. I think playing against a low block can be slightly more frustrating when a team accepts they're not going to have the football, because then it becomes a case of can you maintain that level of discipline and focus. Whereas I know when you play in a game and a team's going to get after you and chase you and press you, it probably makes it more exciting for fans to watch. That's for sure. But what it then becomes is players have to think quicker, have to make decisions quicker, and sometimes that I think what you find sometimes when players have more time on the ball and they have more time to make a decision, that becomes actually more of a challenge. Whereas actually, when a lot of the work we do at high intensity, I think it actually suits us quite a bit when teams come out and press us. So I'm like I say, for me it's around us, our game plan. How do we impose ourselves if they do come out and press, if they do block? It's around us. Understanding, of course, we want to dominate the ball, we want to control the ball, but we want to create chances and take them as well.
I suppose what the last couple of months has shown us is that obviously every point matters. It doesn't make a difference whether you win them in August or whether you win them in April and May sort of time, but that start you made has meant that even though you've lost 2 games, you're still there or thereabouts, and it hasn't really made a massive impact on the way you guys sit in the league at the moment.
No, and I'll be totally honest. I don't spend too much time focusing on the league now. I don't. There's such a large amount of football to be played, a number of points to be played for that it. Of course, you want to be there or thereabouts, but at the minute and where we're at, and because we missed the pre-season and came in a bit later, it's around actually now some fine-tuning some of the things that ultimately will set us up for the long term this season. I think that's the key to it, is making, like I said, them small adjustments, them small tweaks, and getting them right, knowing that, and that'll lead to going on hopefully good runs again in the future to win consecutive football matches.
And just finally, the FA Cup draw obviously made yesterday, and it's a team that's not all that far away from us in Milton Keynes. You're going to be taking on League 2 Stevenage. What did you make of the draw?
Yeah, to be fair, I was watching it whilst I actually were on a staff call as well, so. Good draw. I think we're excited by the game. I think again it's an extremely difficult game. I think the second you take your eye off things and you think you can go out to any game and take it a little bit easy, I think you're in trouble. So for me, I'm looking forward to it. It'll obviously be the first FA Cup game I've taken, so it's a hugely prestigious competition that I'm really looking forward to. Obviously the game that weekend.
Yeah, we say it every year. The FA Cup still holds that magic, doesn't it? Particularly for clubs at this level, and you know some of the non-league teams are looking to make a name for themselves. It's still the competition that everybody wants to play in, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the history of the competition, and like you said, the opportunity and what it can do for clubs, at all levels of the pyramid. I think it's it's a fantastic competition that, yeah, it's one that we'd like to do well in.